Woo! What's going on, guys? Owens Forum coming at you today with another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the aftermath. Week 3, Detroit Lions going up against the Arizona Cardinals. Lions win this game 20-13. Lions going up to 2-1 on the season, and the Cardinals falling to 1-2 on the year. Scoreless football game, 20-13. Like I said, the score doesn't really tell much of the game. Doesn't tell the whole story. I thought the Lions dominated this game, especially on defense. Had a really great first half offensively, but the second half meltdowns of this offense is kind of what we're going to try to talk about a little bit today, but we obviously got some other things to talk about. But let's talk about some injuries, some in-game inactive stuff that did happen during this game. We'll go with the Lions first. Obviously, we had guys like safety. Ife Melifon out with an ankle. He was rookie cornerback Enos Rakestraw Jr. out with a hamstring. Those guys didn't play or dress. In game, it was a mash unit for the Detroit Lions guys. Linebacker Derek Barnes got hurt, knee injury. It looks like he could be missing some time, some significant time. Feels like tight end Sam Laporta, low ankle sprain. He left, got carted off, came back, went out again. I didn't see him come back. Apparently he did come back, but I never saw him come back the third time. Defensive tackle Lee McNeil had a shoulder injury. Strong safety Brian Branch with a concussion. Had a big collision with him and Trey McBride, the tight end from the Arizona Cardinals. He was in the concussion tent or just the blue tent, whatever that they always go to, and he never returned. That was a little bit later in the game too. And then defensive end Marcus Davenport, elbow tricep injury, out for the year. It's been official. Dan Campbell saying that he is done for the year, and I'm going to do probably a video on that kid about who's going to step up next. I'm not going to get into it too much right now, but I have a feeling, without talking about it too much, I have a feeling I just don't want this team to go back to what they were last year. Now, I think our secondary is much improved. I think it's a lot better with guys like even the rookie Terrion Arnold, who's been struggling a little bit with the PIs, the pass interferences. He hasn't been too bad in coverage. He's been getting beat a little bit, but he's doing his job, I think, for the most part for a rookie. He's had some really tough assignments. Guys with Carlton Davis, who hasn't been that great. He had a lot better game last week. Yesterday, I think he did give up the touchdown to Marvin Harrison Jr., though. And Meek Robertson, who's been better. And just those type of guys. I think our safety play has improved big time as well, too, with Brian Branch moving back there. But, what's this team gonna? I don't want this team to fall back into lack of pass rush now. Now we're gonna rely on guys like Pascal. Is James Houston going to be calling up? There's rumblings that he wants out of town now because he doesn't dress. I kind of heard it through the grapevine. I don't really want to say, if I can't say, that he's looking to be either traded or released. Now I don't know what you're going to trade him for, and I don't know if they really want to release him now, especially with Marcus Davenport out. He's probably going to get a lot of playing time, I would assume. I just don't know what they're going to do now. Are they going to go after somebody? Are they going to go after another player on another team? Hassan Reddick. Are they going to go after someone from the Bengals possibly? They got two really good defensive ends. If they fall to 0-3, could they be kind of a team that is maybe looking to unload some guys? People talk about Max Crosby. I think that's a complete illusion. Max Crosby, I would love it. We've got the Eastern Michigan ties. That's why people want him. And he's a great player too as well, don't get me wrong. And the Raiders are garbage. Okay, it's just that simple. They are a bad football team, but he's a massive contract. He would be a massive draft capital to acquire. He'd be worth it. I think he would be worth it if you're going to give up one or two number one picks. But let's not get into it too much, man, because I'm talking about it way too much because I plan on doing a video about that anyways. But Davenport out for the year, done. Elbow, tricep, whatever he has, it hurts. Now the Cardinals, they inactive right tackle Kelvin Beachum. He was out with a hamstring that hurt them. He's a starter. Right tackle Jackson Barton came into the game for him. He got a toe injury. He left the game. And then defensive lineman Justin Jones with a tricep injury as well. He left the game too. So now let's get down to the stats. Lions quarterback Jared Goff, who was playing much better this game. He was 18 for 23, 199 yards. 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He was sacked twice. 78% completion percentage. He was lights out in the first half. Lights out. He was even at one point, I think he was at 12 for 12 or 13 for 13 or even better. he was throwing the ball really, really well in the first half. Second half, they just melted down, and we'll talk about that in a bit. Everybody did. Everybody kind of did. It wasn't just Jared Goff. It was coaching. It was running backs, wide receivers. Nobody did much in the second half. But then, okay, rushing the ball, running back David Montgomery, who I thought had a great game. He was 23 carries for 105 yards, 4.6 yards a carry, 1 touchdown. Jahmyr Gibbs was 16 carries for 83 yards, 5.2 yards a carry. Both those guys were running the ball very well. Goff even had a few yards there. Jameson had a negative on a sweep, on an end around, that he was just completely bottled up. And we'll talk more about JMO too, if I can remember. But we had like 187 yards total rushing the football. A whole different story when we run the football to what we did last week versus Tampa Bay. We won the ground game offensively and defensively. So it was really good to see Montgomery and Gibbs get going again, like they should be get going. Their receiving wise, wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown had a nice game, 7 catches for 75 yards and a touchdown, 10.7 yards a catch. He was on 8 targets. Tight end Sam Laporta, who got hurt, 2 catches for 36 yards, 18 yards a catch, 18 yards per catch, only on 2 targets. Tight end Brock Wright, who filled in pretty nicely, 4 catches for 34 yards, 8.5 yards a catch, 5 targets. Running back David Montgomery, 3 catches for 17 yards, 8.5 yards a catch, right? That's not even, that's 6, it's 5.7 yards a catch. Sorry, on 3 targets. And then wide receiver J-Mo only had 1 catch for 9 yards, 9 yards a catch, obviously, only on 3 targets. He looked like he was getting a little, I don't want to say the word, but looked like he was pouting a little bit, J-Mo, like on the sidelines. That he wasn't getting involved too much. It just looked like it a little bit. I'm not calling the kid out, but he was not involved. And there was even one shot where you saw Jared Goff kind of like grabbing him by the shoulders just before the first half was over. That he was like, looks like he was consoling him, saying like, don't worry, kid, we're going to get you involved in the second half. And they never did. They never got him involved. I'm just kind of, that's what I thought I seen. I could be totally in the wrong. I'm not saying J-Mo's a baby, but I could kind of see his body language a little bit. Kind of his shoulders were down a little bit. He just looked like he wasn't into the game, man, because he just wasn't getting targeted. And we've talked about this before with him. He pouts a little bit when he doesn't get the ball. Now, he's a gamer. He's a competitor. He wants the ball. But he's got to realize sometimes the game plan's not going to be all around him. That's fine. We won the football game. Not attacking him. So let's not get too carried away. Then Tim Patrick had a catch for 8 yards. 8 yards a catch, 1 target. Allen Robinson played in this game, but he didn't get a target. I don't know. I don't remember even seeing him on the field at all. I don't know what number he wears. And then running back, this is an interesting stat. Jahmyr Gibbs had zero catches, but for 20 yards and a touchdown on 0 yards per reception and 0 targets. But he had a touchdown, 20 yarders. It was a lateral. It was a fantastic play that Ben Johnson kind of drew up at the end of the half to get to 20 points, I believe it was. It was a nice little play where Amon-Ra St. Brown kind of ran it in, kind of went like a 4 or 5 yard in. The DB kind of let him go. You see Jahmyr Gibbs kind of like releasing late from his running back position into the middle of the field, and those guys are kind of coming in sync. They're coming in sync. St. Brown catches a really nice pass from Goff, and then St. Brown just laterals it to Gibbs, and he just goes pretty much untouched for 6. He got touched kind of at the 1 or 2 yard line, man, but it was just an easy score. It was a beautiful play drawn up by Ben Johnson. And that's where you love Ben Johnson right there. These second half woes, man. I don't know what's going on, but that was a gorgeous play. And then defensively, safety, Brian Branch had 9 tackles, tackling for loss, a couple pass deflections. Hopefully he's good to go Monday night. Cornerback, Carlton Davis III had 7 tackles, tackle for loss. He did get beat on the Marvin Harrison touchdown. Defensive end, Aiden Hutchinson, 6 tackles, tackle for loss. He had another sack, 2 quarterback hits, 4 or 5 pressures. He was all over. Kyler Murray, he was making his life a living hell. He just doing what he does, man. 6.5 sacks on the season. Linebacker Rodrigo had 5 tackles. He got a lot of playing time with Alex Anzalone being out too. Forgot to mention him. That was a big out too. Anzalone not playing. Rodrigo playing. Ben Neiman, seeing Jack Campbell, Barnes, You saw some Jalen Reeves-Maybin too, especially when Barnes was out. Free safety, Kirby Joseph, 3 tackles, 2 pass deflections, an interception. He should have had 2 interceptions. It would have been a really nice one, the second one though, but he dove. He probably should have caught it. He's turning into a ball player, man. He's always been a ball player, but he's having a nice start to the campaign. And then the defensive tackle, the rookie out of LSU, Mekhi Wingo, had 3 tackles, some pressures. Cornerback Terrion Arnold, rookie, 2 tackles, pass deflect. I thought he played pretty good against Marvin Harrison Jr. for the most part. Only gave up I believe it was, I think he was targeted 6 times with him. I just saw this stat, 6 times, 4 receptions against, and something like 43, 53 yards, 40-something yards. I thought he did it pretty good. He's too handsy though. He's still doing the hand stuff. He had a pass interference, which I thought was, I was arguing with some people online about this. At first, when I looked at that, I thought it was a bad call, but during like after I watched it again, after you calm down and you watch it again, it looked like Arnold just ran into, I believe, I don't know if it was Marvin Harrison he did it to, or if it was Michael Wilson from the Cardinals. I don't remember who it was, but he impeded his forward motion. It was, people will say, well, the wide receiver ran into him. It doesn't matter. You can't run into a wide receiver. It was kind of like, maybe it looked like it could have been both guys running into each other. They're always 9 out of 10 times that's going to the DB. He just needs to be a little bit smarter. And I thought he played a good game. I thought he played a really good game. I thought he played his best game of the year so far. He had some nice coverage. He was sticky. He's not getting burned. You know what I mean? He's not getting burnt. So I thought he looked pretty good on the game. He's got a lot of penalties. He's got like the most in the league for a rookie. I think he leads the league in PIs right now with at least 4 or 5. So he needs to cut that out. And then Levi Onwuzurike, defensive tackle, 1 tackle, 2 quarterback hits. He ended up getting hurt in this game too, but he ended up coming back. I think it was an ankle, but he ended up coming back. So that was good. And then Jake Bates, man, 0 field goal attempts, 2 for 3 in extra points. He did miss that extra point, which was kind of big, because the Cardinals got back in it, and it was a 7-point lead. And then the Cardinals, let's talk about the quarterback, Kyler Murray. He was 21 for 34, 61% completion percentage. He didn't have a great game, 207 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He was sacked only once, pressured a lot though. I thought they bottled him up pretty good. The thing with Kyler Murray, you get in his face, you bang him around a little bit. He's a smaller guy. He gets a little frustrated. You can see him on the sidelines kind of like huffing and puffing, shaking his head, not knowing what's going on. I thought they played him pretty well. And then rushing, quarterback, Kyler Murray was the lead rusher, 5 carries for 45 yards, 9 yards a carry. I thought they contained him pretty decently for what it's worth. He had one play where it was 4th down, I believe, 4th down and 1, 4th down 1.5, whatever it was, and he almost ran for a first down. Carlton Davis came in and had a really nice kind of like pushed him out of bounds. They gave him the first down. Campbell challenged it, won the challenge. A lot of people were like, it's a bad challenge. I thought it was a great challenge at the time. I was like, he doesn't look like he's there. He looks like his knee or his butt hit the ground before he could reach for the first down marker. And I thought it was a really good challenge by Campbell, and he won it. And he won it. It was a great challenge. Running back James Conner for them only had 9 carries for 17 yards at 1.9 yards a carry. Completely shut him down. And he's a good running back. Reminds me a lot of David Montgomery. Big. He's not super fast. Even though I think he did have a good combine years ago, but he's not your burner type guy. He's just a big bruising back who can run a little, who can obviously run, and he was completely shut down. I think he only caught 1 ball as well too, so he didn't do nothing. He was shut down for 4 quarters. This defense was lights out, guys, lights out. And then running back, the rookie Trey Benson had two carries for 8 yards, 4 yards a carry. Thought that maybe they would get him going, but they never did. Running back Amari DeMarcado had 2 carries for 7 yards, 3.5 yards a carry. 0 touchdowns, 77 yards. We held that whole offensive unit to 77 yards rushing and no touchdowns. Impressive. Very impressive. And then receiving, wide receiver rookie Marvin Harrison Jr. had 5 catches for 64 yards, a touchdown, 12.8 yards a catch. Was targeted 11 times. Wide receiver Michael Wilson, 8 catches for 64 yards as well. 8 yards a catch, 9 targets, caught almost everything. Wide receiver Greg Dortch had 3 catches for 35 yards, 11.7 yards a catch, six targets. And then tight end Trey McBride, another guy I was really worried about, 3 catches for 25 yards, 8.3 yards a catch, 6 targets. So they did a really nice job. I think, Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to become one of those elite guys. I really think he is. So 5 to 64 and a touchdown. Expect that every week from Marvin Harrison Jr. and probably more. But I thought that was a pretty good job on him. Michael Wilson got his a little bit, but after that, everybody got shut down. Trey McBride was a guy that I was extremely worried about, but I thought they covered him up pretty good, especially with this D-line kind of pressuring Kyler Murray. I don't think he could get the ball out to McBride enough, but they were doing a good job on him, man. Like you saw linebackers, you saw safeties covering up McBride pretty good. I think one of their game plans was kind of like, don't let McBride beat you. And I think they did a very good job there. I was really worried about him, man. He didn't have that good of a day. 3 catches for 25 yards. I'll take that all day. And he's a really damn good tight end. And defensively, for the Cardinals, linebacker Kazir White had 10 tackles. He was all over the field. He's a good little linebacker. I like him. Talked about him in my preview. Safety Jalen Thompson, 9 tackles. 1 tackle for loss. Linebacker Mac Wilson Sr., 8 tackles, 1 sack, tackle for loss, and a quarterback hit. Safety Buda Baker had 7 tackles, the vet getting it done. Cornerback Sean Murphy Bunting, 7 tackles, the ex-Tampa Bay Buccaneer. Defensive lineman Dante Stills had 6 tackles, a sack, tackle for loss, and a quarterback hit. Outside linebacker Zayvon Collins had 4 tackles, a tackle for loss. Outside linebacker Dennis Gardick was a guy that I was very, very, very concerned about too as well. Not a household name, not a guy that you're going to write home about or pick up in fantasy. But he had 4 tackles, tackle for loss. He had a pass deflection and an interception. And he almost made a big play, at the end of that game where Goff kind of ran for a first down to seal the game, which you don't see much, where he almost tripped him up. And Arizona would have got the ball. They would have had the ball with I believe it was 50 seconds, but they would have got the ball back. And Gardick just missed him. That's a good football player, that Gardick. He was all over the field. He was having some tough times trying to get the Goff, a few times. Obviously, dealing up against Decker, going up against Sewell, who had good games, I thought. We were getting beat on the inside again. Ragnall didn't have a great game. Neither did Glasgow. We had way too many penalties too as well. I'll talk about that too. And then defensive tackle Belial Nichols had 3 tackles and a tackle for loss as well. So, right there. Let's talk about the team stats now. We talk about, we'll go team stats. We'll go Lions first. First downs, they had 23 first downs. They were 6 for 12 on third downs. They were 0 for 1 on fourth down. A lot of people thought that Dan Campbell should have kicked the field goal. I was kind of in that category as well. But I understood going forward at the time the way they were running the football. They tried to kind of hurry it. They tried to do the quick snap. It got stuffed totally. They tried to run Montgomery up the middle, which is what you want to see. You want to see Montgomery up the middle. That's their bread and butter. It got stuffed though. It got stuffed. They tried to quick snap the Cardinals. It didn't work. A lot of people were like, "Take the points. Take the points." Is why you got Jake Bates. I understood, I understood going for it there, but I would have been okay with taking the points. Don't get me wrong. But they were 0 for 1. Rush yards, 187. Pass yards, it was 186 net yards. He did throw for 199, but you guys know. Total yards, 373 total yards. Sacks, we had 1 sack and then 7-yard loss. Interceptions thrown, we throw 1. Punts, we punted the ball 5 times, 49.4 yards a punt. Penalties, we had 9 penalties, which is unacceptable. Too many for 79 yards in yards lost. And then fumbles lost, and then fumbles and then lost. We had 0-0. No fumbles, nothing lost, obviously. Possession-wise, 36 minutes and 49 seconds. Completely dominated this football game. Now, first down for the Cardinals, they had 17 to our 23. They went 1 for 9 in third down. We went 6 for 12, like I said. Fourth down, they were 0 for 2. They didn't get it twice. Rush yards, they had 77 yards. Passing yards, 200. Total yards, 277. Sacks, they had 2 sacks for 13 yards lost. Interceptions thrown, they threw 1. Murray. Punts, they punted for 5 5 punts at 52 yards. They have a really good punter, by the way. Penalties and yards, they had 4 penalties, 30 yards lost. Fumbles, 0-0. And then possession, 23 minutes and 11 seconds to our 36 minutes and 49 seconds. So we dominated this football game completely from, I thought, from start to finish, especially defensively. Now, offensively, I don't know if I got to make another video here. I don't know if I have to make another video here. I just talked about what's going on with this offense last couple of videos that I made. I don't know if I want to make another one, but I don't. This team was fantastic in the first half, offensively. Goff was crisp. They were running the ball well. Wide receivers were doing their thing. Not a lot of wide receivers got a lot of balls though. Jamo with 1, Patrick with 1. It was all Amon-Ra St. Brown, and that's really it. Brock Wright was your second leading wide receiver with 4 catches. He had 34 yards, where Laporta had 36, but Brock Wright came in and, he looked pretty good. He's no Sam Laporta, but the wide receivers didn't do a lot this game, but they did their job. They blocked extremely well. They did what they were supposed to do. But offensively, first half, juggernaut, man. We're playing excellent football. Then second half, we just go into a shell. 3 and outs, 3 and outs, 3 and outs. I don't know how many 3 and outs we must have had in the second half. It felt like a lot, or where we just didn't have, we didn't get enough yards to even attempt a field goal. Like I said, maybe Campbell could have kicked 1 or 2 field goals, 1 for sure. They decided to go for it. They got stuffed. So I took 3 points off the board, if you want to say that. But offensively, we were great just in the first half, second half. I don't know what's going on. Ever since Ben Johnson, and I love Ben Johnson, love him. I'm taking the W. I'm not going to complain about a W, but man, what's going on with these second half woes? It's got to be fixed. It hasn't been fixed for 2.5 years. I don't know what's going on. And then defensively, this team was phenomenal. They couldn't have played a better game. Now, obviously, Marvin Harrison Jr. had a little bit of a day. Kyle Murray, man, they held him to 61% completion percentage. They absolutely shut down James Conner. They shut down Trey McBride, the tight end. Michael Wilson, the other wide receiver, had a decent game with 8 catches, 64 yards. He had a pretty nice day. But all in all, man, this defense shut him down. If we weren't shutting down the run, we were shutting down the pass. We were just doing everything, pressuring the Kyler Murray, giving fits to everybody on that offensive line. Wide receivers were struggling, tight ends were struggling, running backs couldn't do a damn thing over there. Murray was looking frustrated on the sidelines. You always tell when Kyler Murray gets frustrated on the sidelines when he sits by himself and he kind of just sits there and it looks like he's pouting. It's kind of his MO. It's kind of what he does. Hell of a talent, but just one of those guys that kind of does that. He was a guy that I was extremely worried about in this football game. I was worried about him, Trey McBride, even a little bit James Conner, even though we shut down running backs. I was obviously concerned about Marvin Harrison Jr., but I thought our defense did a great job. I don't think there was anything bad about what PFF will always come out with bad scores on some guys. I'm sure Arnold didn't get a great score because of the PI again, but I thought he played an okay game. I thought Davis was better. He did give up the touchdown, I believe. We have playmaking safeties all across the board. Wait till Melifonwu comes back. I don't know what they're going to do. They're going to have this safety room is very, very good. They got playmakers across the board. They got 3 of them. One of them hasn't even played yet. And then they got another guy, Brandon Joseph, on the team who just, he doesn't get a lot of looks. I don't think he gets a lot of snaps. If he does, you don't see him out there. But when he plays, he's going to be a guy that's going to be, maybe a little something. So they just have a very good defense right now. They're holding teams to, I believe, like 16, 17 points a game. 20 points for the first 2, then 13 for this game. They're doing it very well defensively. They're having a coming out party. This is their coming out party finally for Aaron Glenn. Can it continue though? You're losing guys now. You lost Davenport, who's I think was going to be at least a pretty decent, good part of this D-line. Aleem McNeil, hopefully his shoulder's good. You got Derek Barnes, who plays a lot of snaps at linebacker. He was actually out snapping Jack Campbell at one point. we're losing guys, man. And Brian Branch, is he going to miss any time? We got a game this week coming up. Monday Night Football at home, Ford Field, 8:20 p.m. I will be there. They're wearing the blacks, apparently. The blacks and the, those beautiful blacks with the neon blue, apparently. That's what they're supposedly wearing. I can't confirm it 100%, but that's what I keep hearing. And Seattle's a good team. Seattle's 3-0 coming in. It's a huge game for Detroit because then they got a bye in week 5. So that bye comes at a perfect time right now because you guys got guys banged up. So I would not be surprised if Campbell sits a couple guys like Laporta and McNeil are kind of game time decisions. They're day to day right now. So let's see what they do during the week. Barnes, I think, is missing time. Davenport's done. Brian Branch, don't be shocked if that guy doesn't play either. That's going to be, I think, the biggest one right there, Brian Branch, because he makes plays all over the field. He just makes plays. Even when he doesn't, get his hand on a ball, he's right there. So that's it, guys. That's it, man. We're 2-1. Another NFC matchup we won. We got another NFC matchup playing the Seattle Seahawks. And they're 3-0. They're a good football team. They're a really good football team. They do everything well. And we struggle against that team. We've been struggling. We haven't beat those guys, I feel like, in a long time. Especially when Pete Carroll was there. Pete Carroll's gone. It's Mike McDonald, I believe, the coach now, the ex-Michigan Wolverine defensive coordinator. So he's their head coach now. So they thrive on defense. And they got a good defense over there, especially their secondary. So this is going to be a tough game. This is kind of, every game's a must-win. So let's see what happens for this game, man. It'd be nice if the Lions can go 3-1 going into the bye. But that's it, guys. That's it. 27 minutes and change we're going to hit. So that's a long one. I appreciate you guys, coming in and watch me talk about our Lions, man. Good victory. 2-1 on the season. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button at the bottom right. Don't forget to hit the notification bell up top. Don't forget to like, comment, share this out. Detroit versus everybody. Grit. Let's go, Detroit Lions. Boom.